Okay, I did a video, yes, you're looking at my feet somewhere at work. If you had a map of North America, well, first of all, the world, you'd zoom in, and then you'd zoom in on the East Coast, and then you'd zoom in on the Great Lakes, and then you'd, based on my accent, say, somewhere on the Canadian side of the border, but that's all I'm going to say. Yes, hi, I'm going to talk a bit about some items for first aid kits and then some things about wounds as well as some specialty items. I'm at my work, so I'm not going to say where I am. But I just want to show some items that you can have. And yes, I need to get new running shoes. Just kidding. What I can't stress enough, and you can buy some of these at dollar stores, at least in Canada, is cling. These are good for wounds and to wrap around. And all these things you can apply to whatever scenario. I'm just talking about first aid stuff. And good things that are to have and maybe long term. And I'm not saying, zombie scenarios, end of the world scenarios, or, whatever. But I'm just talking about things like, say, think Katrina or anything with weather, or if you have family members, the power goes out, you can't get to the doctor in a few days. If you have access to some things, I know some things might be expensive, but if you have a relative with an ongoing chronic wound problem, some of these specialty items that I will be showing you, I know you can get probably easier on the US side, but definitely for Band-Aids, when I talk about silver products, those are definitely available. States is ahead of Canada as far as that goes, but certain items you can get over the counter as well. But I'm just going to show you cling, definitely, and you can make this up yourself out of using, like, cutting up, say, sheets or something like that, but don't use it too tight. It's going to sound gross, but I'm also going to stress using something like maxi pads. I won't go for the expensive brands like always, but use just dollar store ones, and that's good to have in a first aid kit, definitely. This is works the same way. This is something called Mesorb. You can see it through the package. I'm not going to open up all this stuff, but it's just literally this fancy maxi pad. So you can see this is specialty items we use that even sometimes the hospitals don't have. So that's something that you can use. Also, too, if you have any silver, which is pretty funny, people are surprised at actually, is good to prevent infection. So if you have access to regular Band-Aids that have silver in them, and silver products, definitely, for sure, 100% you can get them in the US. Canada's lagging in that department, but you can get that, and that will help prevent against infection. Because in ancient Rome, they actually used to put silver coins in water to purify it. Bit of information for you, trivia next time you play whatever game. This is silver cell. It's kind of like a, I'm just showing you what is used commercially. It's just literally like gray felt. And that's used on a wound. What I am doing, I am using up, actually, even if we used only like an inch square, centimeter square, technically we have to throw out this whole thing. And that is such a waste because this is 11 centimeters by 11 centimeters. 2.5 inches in a centimeter. 2.54, so I'm not going to do the math on that one. Long day. But anyways, silver cell. If you have access to this stuff, this is great, but this is like good for wounds that have a lot of drainage. This is something else. This is called Restore. This is literally looks like a screen window, so a gray screen window, and it would go on a wound, and this helps heal. All this stuff is excellent for diabetic wounds, because for diabetic wounds, they yeah, I'm going to talk about that separately for a sec. If I'm sighing, it's because diabetes is so chronic in North America. Adult onset used to be age 50 and above, 55, 60s. Now it's 15, 16. You can't even vote yet, and it's just chronic due to extreme obesity and a whole bunch of other factors, diet, and people can get into GMOs and all that stuff. But however you look at it, it's on the rise. Also, to fructose, which is in a lot of stuff. Corn syrup is a big at fault for a lot of this stuff too. But anyways, silver is very good. So anybody who's diabetic, you get a wound, check your foot daily, please. This is good for anybody, because what can literally start as a blister can become, I've seen where people have to get their foot cut off, literally. I don't see them getting their foot cut off, mind you, but I see the result of that. So silver is good for anything like that. So you can get Band-Aids in the States. I'm going to show you another thing. This is pretty cool. This is called Meta Honey. This was developed in New Zealand, and I'm not selling any of these products, so I'm not making a sale. I'm just saying what you can get in for nature. Honey's been used for thousands of years. This is, I think, well, probably about $100 for this little thing. And how many? 1.5 ounces, 44 mils. So for this little bit, it's expensive, but you can take regular honey and use that. I'm not sure if it's raw or pasteurized is better, but you want to be careful with certain wounds. But what it does is it can like isolate the wound, keep it kind of sterile. But yeah, I won't. I was going to make some jokes, but I won't. But basically, honey is awesome for wounds, and that's been used for thousands of years. Also, too, it sounds funny, but I know someone that says actually spider webs. They use that. Sounds gross, but it's in nature. And use that on a wound, it can help heal and bring it together. If anybody has an object that's impaled, never pull it out. Yeah, all that other type of stuff is out there on YouTube, so I don't know, I might put some links up, but I'm just basic stuff. But if you have access to packing, and I'm not saying please go steal the stuff, but it just literally looks like a shoelace. This is 1/4 inch. Iodine is often used with this in a wound because you want it to heal from the bottom up. I'm talking something like a puncture wound or something that's, say, a couple centimeters deep or even deeper. And iodine would have to be used daily if you have that in stock. But there's other stuff called, which I lost, of course. Oh, here we go. Heodesorb. So this is like an iodine toothpaste. And that can be used as well. And that stays in a little longer. So that's the same thing. So I'm not saying you have access to any specialty items, but just saying what's out there. There's something else called chlorhexidine. This is used. This is like a cleaner. This is used. It's like a long stick. It's used for cleaning things, but it also is used in different specialty wound products. This is the same thing called Bactigras. Doctors use this a lot. So it's just looks like a screen window that's yellow. So what that does is it just helps with superficial wounds, cuts and that, and it keeps away bugs, basically. There's something called Promogran. Hopefully nobody recognizes where I am. That's funny. They're going to go, I didn't know my nurse thought about this kind of thing. No, there's more to me. Yeah, anyways, I'll keep that joke going. Anyways, those that know me well know this stuff. Know my views. Something called Promogran. This is actually like fibrin for, which is a component of blood to help things heal. And this can be used to help wounds to heal if they're shallow and they just doesn't seem to come together. Now, wounds, I just do want to make a point with, even up till early 20th century, and it can happen in different parts of the world, people could get a small cut and literally die from that. So preventing infection is a good thing, and not to gross people out, but in World War I and World War II, they actually used urine because of the acidic content to keep everything at bay. So I'm advising that, but it's something possible to use. I think that's about it. If you have people with IVs and stuff, also too, if you're on antibiotics, just note there's good flora that you need in your body, which again, I'm educating people on. Doesn't mean I always do myself, but you need to take something like acidophilus, or you can store up stuff. Storing up pills isn't the best in heat situations. Anything like that, I'm going to sort of deflect to Patriot Nurse because she gets into all this stuff in a better detail. I'm just showing these products, but this is called saline. Normal saline, this is used for IVs, and if maybe your relative there's something called a PICC line, which goes into the person's arm. If you have somebody that's on IVs, on these different things, if the traveling or the visiting nurse leaves supplies in the house, it's good to just get educated on this stuff so that you know what to do in case they can't get out. I don't know, I'm not saying there's going to be like Mother Nature doing something, but it's really good to know things. I'm thinking of, there's a gentleman on the news who's a newscaster that his mother with Katrina, I'm thinking about all this. His mother was at a nursing home, and she kept calling him because they were literally flooding, and the poor patients drowned. I'm not saying it's going to be a situation like that, but there's health situations where you just got to get people out of where they're at. Again, real life happened here in North America, but stuff can happen. So it's good you as a family member to know for relative or loved one's care certain things that are involved in their care. So if you have a visiting nurse and there's certain designated acts, and when like in Katrina, hey, you don't have to be a nurse to deal with your mom's PICC line or whatever. There's different things. So if people go, what is that? I will leave a link, but I'm just saying what's available. So these again are just some products. Definitely in the US you'll be able to get some of these things. through specialty shops. Also even check back roads. I go up and down the East Coast all the time. Check like even back roads, flea markets, warehouses. You can find some clothes that can be kind of worth its weight in gold when they do like a liquidation. Also too, gloves. I can't recommend that enough. Also too, I would get use vinyl, non-latex type of stuff, because, and also nitrile is they're better quality. I don't have any here in front of me, unfortunately, but they also do. They're used often by EMS, but they're all awesome. Oh, just talking about masks too. This is not like gas mask zombie situation. I'm joking here, but basically this is like you see in the hospital. Might not be a bad idea to have some of these. I was talking to a friend of mine who does believe in stuff and prepping and that kind of thing, and they've ordered some of these things. I said, yeah, they're not bad to have, but there's certain specific masks that actually you need to be fitted for, that are, for example, in tuberculosis situations, or there are those round face masks that cover, they look like masks like you would have if you were cleaning, spraying your lawn or something. They look like that. N95 is one brand. There's some other ones, but you have to make sure it fits your face properly. So I'll put a link into that. So that's against bugs and that kind of thing. The next step up would be a respirator if you're dealing with movies like Outbreak, with Dustin Hoffman. I mean, if there's something in the air. I'm not saying it's going to turn to a zombie scenario. I don't mean that, but I'm just showing some things that I deal with on a daily basis that maybe if people can use for a first aid kit, or good to have in general. Also too, there's these, if you have to pack wounds, they look like basically long Q-tips. Oh, and last thing, I think I already said this, long day. This is my second video, I redid this one, but Tegaderm, which is literally like saran wrap for the body. I guess you can use saran wrap if you're stuck, but it's not sterile. This stuff is. This is great for sealing in wounds or whatever. Okay, so I deal with umpteen wounds in a day. Some info may be of help. Also too, highly carcinogenic, but kills just about anything. Whatever brand you get. I mean, you can just get your, this is against tuberculosis and whatever, but this stuff can be good to, you can get your over-the-counter brand. You can get it at the drugstore. This is good for killing germs. Okay, so I'm just saying in an environment where that might be compromised. Okay, so I think that's some info. Take care. And I need new shoes for sure. Okay, bye.